Hi everyone, in this video I want to transform your mindset and help you gain that confidence so you can channel it into something positive and you can absolutely smash that interview and you land your dream opportunity. I've been working in the recruitment space for the past 3 years, and this channel is all about mindset and motivation and just helping you be more successful and be more career savvy. As a recruiter, I've helped over 100 of young professionals land their dream opportunities, and in this video I want to talk about improving your self-confidence so that you can tackle that interview and you're not anxious. If you're someone who rambles during an interview, or maybe you get asked a specific question and you don't know how to answer that question, so your mind just goes blank, in this video I want to talk about how you can combat that so you're delivering your answers to the point and you actually give them that best impression of who you are and what value you can provide to that company. Honestly, you need to have that mindset of interviews. It's not actually a scary concept. You need to think of that interview as just a normal conversation of you're providing them with value in terms of actually helping them solve a problem that they have. Maybe they're hiring you to build a website. They've chosen you for that interview for a particular reason, because at the end of the day you're getting interviewed by that person, and that person can be your colleague, that person could be your future manager. So I always treat it as this is the problem that you have and this is where my skills and experience can help you solve that problem. This tip is so important. You need to prepare your answers in advance. The amount of clients that I work with and they don't do well in interviews, and I ask them how did you prepare for that interview, and they just said, oh well, I just had a look at that website and I didn't really do much planning, and I thought I'd be able to wing it. Why didn't they do well? They didn't prepare. At the end of the day, this interview is your one shot of giving them that one impression of why should you get that job. So you want to make sure that you prepare your answers in advance. So obviously you don't know what questions are going to be asked, but you can preempt the questions because there are tons of common interview questions that get asked. For instance, tell me about yourself. This is a very, very common interview question. I've covered that in my previous video. I'll leave a link somewhere. You can go check that out, but I've just deep dived how to actually structure and answer that question. You want to mention your skills, your relevant experience and your achievements, and make sure you quantify your achievements. If you didn't prepare in advance and they ask you the first question, well, tell me about the company, all you're going to do is either you're going to ramble and mention some stuff that you probably tried to remember from Google, or you've just said a lot of nonsense that doesn't even make sense about the company, and this is the first impression that you've given them. And this is where your anxiety will build, because if they ask you a question about yourself and you haven't prepared enough, then this is where you'll just stumble and you'll trip over your words. So you do want to prepare your answers in advance. If you don't prepare in advance, it may feel like you're just clutching straws and pulling answers out of thin air, and that can lead to a bad impression. You want to make sure when you're preparing your answers, you're practicing this out loud. So this leads me to my next tip. Practice, practice, practice. Write down a few bullet points, maybe why do you want to work for the company, or tell me about yourself, and you've got a clear structure. And the best way to get these across is that you actually record yourself delivering this, or you face a mirror and you actually directly speak into that mirror and just have that conversation to yourself and just preempt the question and look at your body language when you're practicing these answers. So you'll understand the flow of the answers and you can be your biggest critic. It will actually help you remember your answers and you won't get that blank expression during that interview. This will help you eliminate the factor of you rambling. My next tip is build a rapport. What this means is you want to be on the same wavelength as that interviewer. So do your background research on the interviewer panel. Who is this person that you're interviewing? Maybe and find something in common that you can actually discuss and break that ice. So what I'd recommend is go on LinkedIn, do a quick search on maybe companies that they've worked at previously, if they are from the same city or maybe they went to the same university as yourself. Confidence as a definition is the feeling or belief in someone or something. So what you want to do in that interview is you want to focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. If you really believe you're right for the role, then you need to channel all that positive energy onto why you're right for the role. And if there are any weaknesses, then see it as an opportunity for you to learn on the job, or at least make them aware that these are your strengths, these are the areas that you need to improve, This company will help you improve those areas of weakness. So when you're actually in that interview, there are a few ways to perceive yourself to be confident in the eyes of the interviewer. So that is maintaining eye contact and not just looking to the side when they're talking to you, or you're just disinterested and maybe you don't know what else to say and you're just not really directly talking to the viewer. You want to keep eye contact. You want to make sure in that first 10-20 seconds is that you give them a good firm handshake. One of the key signs of having anxiety is maybe fidgeting, or maybe you're just holding a pen and you just can't stop moving it and it can be really distracting, or maybe you're just tapping or you're just shaking your legs. You want to just be calm and control your fidgeting. The best way you can do that is maybe putting your hands on the table and keeping it steady, or put something that if you're holding your pen, just put it down. It's absolutely fine. Or put your hands and firmly put it on your legs. By working on your self-confidence, this will help you be more resilient when you're faced with difficult situations. A better decision maker. You'll be able to work independently. I built up my self-confidence by just taking on new challenges. Remember, self-confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room, it's about believing in your own abilities. If you really believe you're right for the role, then you need to generate that energy to them. A simple technique that I always say to my clients is, when you're talking and you feel like you've reached an end point where you could go on, or you feel like you've just hit a conclusion, then just pause and ask them, is that enough information or shall I continue? This opens that conversation into a two-way conversation. Rather than you speaking at them, you're speaking with them and you're inviting them into the conversation. That can lead two ways. They can say, no, please expand on this, and then you can tailor your next set of responses to that so you're fully answering the question. Or they may be satisfied with the answer and say, no, that's brilliant, thank you. And then you can move on to the next question. If your interview's tomorrow or if your interview's next week, just practice, prepare your answers, build that rapport during that interview. If you find you are rambling, just take a deep breath, pause, and you'll be fine. If you found this video helpful, then please let me know. Please drop a like, it really helps out the channel. And yeah, drop a comment. I read all the comments and I do respond to all the comments, so actually, no, I'll keep it going.